Gear up for Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. It's your final word on sports all across the state. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now here are your hosts, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
Well, just the 2015 season with my neck injury, I felt like a lot of people forgot about me. I just wanted to come back and just let everybody know that Mike Williams is back and he's better than ever.
At the end of the day, he catches the ball. Like he'll tell you, I done had some pretty good coverage on him, but at the end of the day, he still come down with the ball, and that's what all matters.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome into Sports Talk, South Carolina. I got to say it. I can't hold it back any longer. Been sitting on this for several months, but I just have to express it now. I love Isaiah Thomas. Love. As you know, over the years, there's been a professional athlete or two who I root for that I crossed the line with from just regular fandom into love.
Oh, Lord.
Larry Bird, Brett Favre, Derek Jeter. The list is endless. Let's add Isaiah Thomas to that list. My God, what a performance last night. I mean, come on. 53 points in an overtime win and an array of shots that, I mean, seriously, for I was going to say a kid. For a kid his size, unbelievable. After banging his face on the floor, a la Larry Bird, many years ago when he banged his head on the floor, got right up, kept on going, make sure his new tooth was in place or his replaced tooth was in place. Come on, pro, give it up. Heck of a performance.
Heck of a performance by both. John Wall was just
he's
exciting.
Average.
Oh, are you kidding me? But it was.
No, they were good. There was a period there. Did you watch the whole game?
I watched the fourth quarter and the overtime.
You missed it. There was a period in
the third quarter.
No, I think it was the second or third quarter. That was just magnificent basketball. It was during that period when Marcus Smart went behind the back, under the basket, scoop-de-doo, unbelievable shot. Then I think Wall went down, hit an incredible shot, just back and forth for about 2-3 minutes of fantastic offensive basketball. And there, it's a different type of games. People watch a big, powerful post person. You're just big and ugly. That big old schnoz starts in D.C. and ends in Virginia.
Big schnozzers.
Excuse you? Anyway, but they've turned the clock back on scoring, though, in this particular series and in a lot of these series. Remember, the NBA used to be a high-scoring, free-flowing league. Then it became, especially in the playoffs, it became grabbing and
clutch,
grinding, and games were in the 90s, even in the 80s sometimes in the playoffs. Now we're back into the hundreds plus. It's pretty exciting basketball, especially when your favorite team wins.
Well, the interesting thing about Isaiah Thomas, and if he's honest with you, he'll tell you this. First, he was trapped on a bad team. And he was trapped on a bad team and playing against a lot of tremendous point guards, like Chris Paul, guy in Oklahoma City in the Western Conference. He gets to the East. He's a little bit more mature. You can tell he's gotten stronger since he was drafted by Sacramento Kings. And his game has just blossomed in Boston, which occurs with a lot of NBA stars. If they don't shine, a lot of them don't shine, maybe not shine with their first team, but they get on another team where they're comfortable with the players. The only thing I worry about the Celtics is, and I could play on that team and figure it out too, that you start to spectate of what he's going to do instead of getting you behind. And see the Celtics, well, let me see what he's going to do this time. I said, why don't y'all go out of the basket and get a rebound?
Mm-hmm.
They're standing there watching him.
Yeah, rebounding is still a little bit of an issue, though they've cleaned it up some since the the regular season and the first part of that Chicago series. So great night enjoying the Celtics last night. All right, on to Sports Talk tonight. Got another terrific show for you. It's going to be very busy. I interviewed former Clemson stars, now NFL-bound players Mike Williams and Cordray Tankersley. We'll bring that to you here at the bottom of this hour, so stay tuned for that. Two fine young men, products of the school system of the state of South Carolina, from small towns. Mike Williams from Vance. You know who else is from Vance?
Tell me, who is it?
The Big O, Harold Jameson.
Okay,
was from Vance.
Right, right.
And he went to Lake Marion High School, where he was a stud in football and basketball. And then you have Cordray Tankersley, who went to Silver Bluff over in Petticoat Junction, which is just a little stop sign on the highway there between, I guess between Aiken and Augusta, over in that Aiken part of the state. But again, two kids who came up through public school in South Carolina, went to Clemson, won a national championship, won a ton of football games in their career, and now will be cashing in. Neither one has signed a contract yet with their respective teams. Williams, the number 7 pick of the draft, is going to get a huge check, of course, when he signs with the Chargers out in L.A. And Tankersley will do well also, a third-round pick of the Miami Dolphins.
I understand they really don't get their first paycheck to the first regular season game, which means that, but
they're getting some advance.
But the agents are advancing some money. But
yeah.
Interesting, you mentioned the two small school players. And here's the thing that people have to start looking at again, Corn, because I think sometimes, especially at the scholastic level, even lower levels, middle school, people are specializing too much. Most of the time, you'll find a good athlete. He's played more than one sport, so he's developing his talent and his quick twitch muscle playing several sports. We were just talking NBA. Let me give you an example. I remember when Gordon Hayward was drafted by Utah, and they booed the pick. And I said, "This guy's going to be a good player." I said, "Well, why?" Because he was a world-class tennis player who turned to basketball and grew several inches. I said, you'd be surprised, guys who play more than one sport, their reflexes and their athleticism just improve. So these guys went to small schools where they probably played more than one sport, and look at where they are now.
All right, so look forward to hearing from them. Also, Dabo Sweeney just met with the media up in Greenville. It's the Tigers' prowl and growl stop in Greenville. They are meeting at Fluor Field. And we'll bring that to you here in just a couple of minutes after the break. We'll hear from Dabo. So Dabo and then two of his products, Mike Williams and Cordray Tankersley, here on Sports Talk. 7:30 tonight, we go a little bit wild, SC Wild, here on Sports Talk. Captain Billy Downer will join us and catch up with him on what is happening in the great outdoors as things start to heat up. Weather-wise, that means the fishing in particular becomes much more prominent in our state this time of the year. And, of course, there's all kinds of hunting taking place, too.
I thought you were going to talk about snakes since it's heating up.
Well, no doubt snakes will be part of the conversation at some point in time as well. Baseball tonight, you've got Wofford over at South Carolina, 7 o'clock at Founders Park. The Terriers come in at 24-20. The Gamecocks at 25-17. Pitching matchup tonight, Cody Morris for the Gamecocks, 2-1, 3.43 ERA against Chris Sheehan, senior right-hander, 3-1, 2.33 ERA. South Carolina, over the years, of course, dominating the series, 76 wins to 25 losses and a tie. And the tail of the tape, Wofford swinging the bat pretty well. 291 batting average to USC's 266. Terriers have hit 54 homers to USC's 36, so they got a little bit of offensive pop. USC's pitching numbers a good bit better than the clock. We'll see what kind of lineup Chad Holbrook trots out there tonight. He's been changing things up, trying to find that right combination. We'll be back. Sports Talk.
different response at these things, considering, you know, you come in here with a little bit more hardware than you did a year ago? Are people, have you seen bigger crowds? Have you seen just a more excited fan base?
Well, I think this is maybe my third one, and the crowds have been great, and just, you know, as you would expect, a lot of energy and enthusiasm. Everybody's excited, and we've had a lot of fun. You know, we've got several more to do. I know we've got tonight. We're in Raleigh tomorrow night, and then we got a couple talking about their experience from last year. But then
guys can get back there.
Both. I mean, there's always the celebration
You guys just made, or is it questions about how you guys can get?
We still got a long way to go. It's been a lot of fun.
Is it more appreciation of the run you guys just made, or
both? I mean, there's always without our saying.
Chip on his shoulder.
He'll do just fine.
He said he's going to prove himself. Do you think he'll roll in there with the
things? You get to pick the best situation. Surprise for all of our guys, and look forward to watching them, you know, continue their journey.
Were you surprised at all that Ben Boulware didn't get drafted?
Oh yeah, I was very surprised in some ways. In some ways, but you know, I thought he was going to be late. I thought he would be a 5th, 6th, 7th round. So we're
in there with the chip on his shoulder.
Who Ben is, but he's a football player. I mean, he's entire.
Continue to build and grow, and whether it was the West Zone. Since the day that Terry Don gave you that interim tag, there's always been a project for you to make.
There's a lot of areas. I mean, there's details going on that I think are important. Looking ahead, and then, you know, I think you get passed by. So better to really get situated. We're in it. Get some blind. We got a lot kind of finish that off.
What are some things you'd like to potentially see inside the stadium to make that better?
Well,
Welcome back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. USC's lineup for tonight's. And in names, Olsen's going to lead off and bat center field. So Hopkins is out. Going to rest Tim. Tolbert is at second, batting second. Cortez batting third and right. Bride at third, batting fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Hogan at first, batting fifth. Grosvenor, the DH, batting sixth. Destino back in the lineup. In left field, batting seventh. Taylor behind the plate, batting eighth. And Stokes at short. The lineup for tonight. Dabo Sweeney coming up in just a moment. 5'6", 7'2", 6'6" is the number. Jody right here in Columbia, listening to us on The Point. Welcome in. How are you?
Phil, what's going on?
Not much. Not much. Good to hear from you.
Just heard somebody saying that Mike Williams is a multi-sport athlete. Was that professor said that?
I suggested that I thought he was since he had been at a small
no,
school.
Well, here's one of my coaching buddies sent me a text. 30 of the first 32 picks in the draft in high school were multi-sport athletes.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yep, and now, did you read the most recent, I think it was an orthopedic paper that came out? 70% of people that specialize in sports or get injuries, it's some huge number. It was like 70% of them.
So with that being said, how do you feel about, kids that, especially, I guess, well, it's basketball players, baseball players, football players, and all the summer leagues and the travel teams that force you, because of the time restraints, they force you to they force you to focus on one sport.
Mm-hmm.
You mean the big lie? The big lie that baseball coaches and soccer coaches and all those guys tell their kids?
Yeah.
Play the summer league, I'll get you a scholarship.
Yeah, you feel like that's a big line?
Yeah, that's exactly what I call it. I'm a coach, and I coach 3 sports.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm amazed at how many football coaches, not football coaches, are going to lie all year round. You can get this baseball scholarship. Well, go figure out, what is it, 20-something kids on a baseball team in college, and there's 11 and a half scholarships to go around? So you work baseball? That's special.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just wrong. It's wrong what we do to high school kids.
Yeah.
Let them play all the sports. Let them play as many as they can. The one equivalent for all those sports is bigger, faster, stronger. A strength and conditioning program in the summer is what makes them athletes.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, Mike Williams was playing everything he could and lifted as much weight as he could and ran as much as he could.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Good point. Thank you very much. Wonder how many people agree with that. The fact that not specializing in one particular sport and spreading it out among a number of sports, as many as you can get to and as many as you want to play, is an asset in helping you to develop as a complete athlete. But there are people who will say, look, now maybe we're just talking the team sports. If you're going to be focusing on an individual only sport like golf and tennis, for example, or swimming, do you help yourself by playing basketball or football? Does that help you become the great golfer you aspire to be, or the great tennis player, or the great swimmer? Something that's an individual sport.
I'm thinking more in fact of mind than body, because a young person, if I grab you and say, here's a golf club at 10 years old, and that's all you do, I think mentally you get bored with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's good to have a variety of things to do to get away from what you're doing. Then whatever you learn or what muscle groups you develop from other sports may enhance your performance at the main sport you desire to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Good call, Jody. Appreciate it very much. Anybody agree or disagree? We'll get to more calls coming up. Dabo Sweeney spoke just a little while ago to reporters. First time we've heard from him around here since about Ben Boulware. We're going to hear from 2 of his players who were drafted. He was asked about a player who was not drafted. He did sign with the Panthers, linebacker Ben Boulware. Here is Dabo's take on that and other things.
Oh, yeah, I was very surprised in some ways. But, I thought he was going to be late. I thought he would be a 5th, 6th, 7th round draft pick. That's about where he should have fallen. But he'll be fine. He'll be just fine. Sometimes when you're going 6th or 7th round, sometimes it's best to not be drafted. When you're a high priority free agent guy and you're going to have several teams calling you, several teams won't. It's you can negotiate a little bit more from a free agent standpoint. Plus, the biggest thing is you get to pick the best situation. Just like coming out of high school, when you get to pick a situation where you really want to be and go, and it's a good fit for you. So, whereas when you're drafted, you don't have any say in that. So it's not all bad, and Ben Boulware, I'm not worried about. He'll be just fine.
He said he was going to prove himself. Do you think he'll roll in there with a chip on his shoulder?
Of course. If he'd have been taken in the first round, he'd have rolled in with a chip on his shoulder. That's just kind of who Ben is. But he's a football player. I mean, he shines in between the lines, and there's always guys bigger, taller, faster, and all that stuff, but There's very few that are going to play better, and that has never changed for him in his entire life of playing football, from Pee Wee to middle school to high school to college. It's not going to be any different at the next level. He'll be
on. Gave you that interim tag. There's always been a project for you to make this program better, whether it was the West Zone, the indoor, the Operations Center. So what is next for you in this football program to continue to build it and grow and keep it at the forefront of everything?
Just consistency. That's where we are right now. We're still moving in a new facility, but there's a lot of areas within our program that we want to continue to improve. Whether it's our dining situation there, and from how the food's being prepared. I mean, there's details going on all the time in all areas of the program. But from a huge project standpoint, there's other things down the road. There's things that I'd love to say I think would be great for Clemson football and for the fans. There's things from a housing standpoint that I think are important that we address somewhere, always looking ahead and then into what's going on out there. You never arrive. I think if you arrive, you get passed by. So just trying to continue to strive to get better, to have consistency within our program like we've had, continue to recruit the right kind of guys. And, that's the main thing. And then just get settled into this new facility. We've still got a lot to do, to really get situated. We're in it, but it's like moving in a new house. You got to get the shower curtains up, get some blinds up in the windows and things like that. We got a lot to do still to really kind of finish that off.
All right, some of Dabo Sweeney from up at Fluor Field tonight, where they're having the Prowl and Growl stop. Let's get back to the phones. Mike Williams and Cordray Tankersley coming up. We go to Tippy in Edgefield. Not going to go with the obvious lead in. Tippy, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Just had a comment about y'all talking about the multiple sports deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think, as you said, it's the main thing also. When you're put in a pressure situation, I think the more chances you have to be in that pressure situation, the better it will be later on when you're like if you play in golf or something like that. You're on yourself there. You put more pressure on yourself. But in a team sport, then you're pressuring the whole team, not just yourself. So if you're on a team for a sport and then you're on a singular sport type thing, you're more accustomed to that pressure. So I think that would help in that situation.
Do not disagree. I mean, until you've towed the line in the last seconds with the game on the line, or you're at the plate with the bases loaded, 2 out in the bottom of the ninth and it's on your shoulders. Yeah, how you respond to those situations can be magnified as you go from sport to sport, and how you deal with it in one sport can carry over to how you deal with it in another sport. It's all good. It's all part of the learning process, the developmental process as you are a youngster. Once you become a college player and into the pros, I mean, you should already be developed from the standpoint of how you deal with pressure. Mm-hmm. And the more opportunities you get to go through it in your younger days, especially in high school, the better off you're going to be. Hey, we thank you for your phone call. We've got the two. All right, welcome back in Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. Here on a big Wednesday night, let's talk football. Let's talk some Clemson and NFL football. We welcome into Sports Talk two former Tigers, hard to believe, headed to the NFL, receiver Mike Williams with the LA Chargers, got to get used to that, and cornerback Cordray Tankersley with the Miami Dolphins in studio with us. Great to see both of you. Man, you look sophisticated, all decked out and jumping from point to point. Mike, congratulations to you on the draft. And what has life been like for you the last week or so?
It's been crazy. You know, I went out there to LA for a couple of days after I got drafted. You know, they flew me out there to meet the staff, get to the facility, see how everything was. So, I mean, it's been a crazy process. You know, I just enjoy every day by day.
Yeah. I saw where they took you around to some businesses, went to a burger place, and just starting to check out the place.
Yeah, it's nice there. You know, I feel like it don't get no better than LA. You know, 2D in Miami. I mean, it's great there also. So I mean, I feel like we both in great cities, and we're gonna make the best out of it.
Absolutely. Cordray going to Miami, third-round draft pick with a organization that appears to be up and coming. What's happened with you since the draft?
Like Mike said, just crazy, you know, just enjoying the process. You know, you only get drafted once. So I just want to just enjoy it with my family and just watch guys like Mike just live their dream, you know, and just support him every which way I can and just have fun being a Dolphin.
Yeah, where have you been since the draft?
I've been with my family, just be hanging with them, you know. I don't know where I'd be without them, so that's where it all started.
Let's go back to draft night number one in Philly. That place was just crazy. What was it like with all the thousands of people in that setting that they hadn't
faced before the draft, and I flew home for the actual draft. So I mean, just being home with my family for the draft, you know, that's just something I always wanted to do. I wanted to spend that time with my family because those are the people who got me to where I'm at today. So I just wanted to spend that time with everyone who helped me get to this point.
When you got the phone call, what went through your mind?
It was crazy. I actually got the phone call and my call failed. So I was kind of scared at that moment. You know, I called back twice and my call failed again. So I ran out the building, and then I finally got some service and got on the phone with the GM. He told me he was excited to pick me as the first pick for the LA Chargers in that first round. So, I mean, that phone call meant a lot. You know, I just watched the NFL draft years before that, just seeing everybody get those phone calls. So, I mean, for me, just to get that phone call, it meant a lot to me.
And to go as early as you did, second receiver off the board. Thank you. Still not bad. What did you think about your placement in the draft?
I mean, great quarterback in Phillip Rivers, you know, future Hall of Famer. So, I mean, I feel like where I'm at today, I feel like I'm in a great position. You know, got a great receiver on the other side, me and Keelan Allen, so I'm excited to work with him. So, I mean, I feel like ending up in L.A. was the right position for me.
And Artavis Scott's going to be out there with you.
Yeah, my future teammate, you know, again, you know, just having him out there with me, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, got to share balls with him and share routes with him, huh? You guys won't be playing the same positions, though, will you, in their offense?
No, sir. He will be on the other side.
Yeah. Cordray, you'll be heading out to Miami when to begin working out for the Dolphins?
I leave tomorrow, actually. We have a little orientation. They're going to get everything situated with me down there, get me comfortable and familiar. And then I'm going to come back Sunday, then join the last few times with my family, and I fly back out like May 13th for good. And my family going to come down as well and get acquainted with the staff. So it's up and running.
What has the Dolphins defensive staff told you so far about their plans for you and how quickly they plan to work you into their system?
Oh, definitely. They want me to work in immediately. I mean, I was their third round pick, so they expect me to come in and learn immediately. They want me to come in and compete for that star position, but also play my role in special teams. I played a lot of special teams at Clemson, so I'm well prepared for that. But also just come in and just learn from those like Byron Maxwell, who's been there, who I idol my game after, and just come learn after him and just hopefully win a spot opposite of him.
Opposite him. You don't want to take his spot.
Hey, if it is what it is, every man for himself.
For real.
Now, Mike, it's going to be quite a come down for you catching passes from Phillip Rivers after catching passes from Deshaun Watson, right? I mean, that's a step down.
No, I feel like I'm always in the with a great going to Phillip.
Who was your Lake Marion quarterback?
He actually played.
He wasn't bad either.
You right now.
Yeah,
but have some great quarterbacks.
No doubt.
Every great receiver need a great quarterback.
This year, 98 catches, coming back off the neck injury. Just what was it like for you personally to accomplish what you did individually and also as far as what the team accomplished?
Well, just the 2015 season with my neck injury, I felt like a lot of people forgot about me. I just wanted to come back and just let everybody know that Mike Williams is back and he's better than ever. Just facing Tootie every day in practice, he got me better. So, I felt like any other DB that I was going against, they weren't better than our DB. So I felt like the games were going to be easy. So, I just want to go out there and have fun with my teammates.
And you never had a second thought about the injury once you got back out there?
No second thought. The doctor said I was all healthy 100%. So, I was just making sure that what they were saying was all right. I just went out there and played like I was never hurt. So, I felt comfortable going out there.
Cordray, when you saw Mike in practice when he came back, when did you realize he was back to being Mike Williams before the injury?
Oh, man. Day one when he came full pass, he hit the ground running. Our first scrimmage, I'll never forget at the stadium. He ran like a post corner, and he just snapped the one-hander, and the crowd went crazy. And right then I knew he's back. He's better than ever. Just to watch him as a freshman just grow into the player he is now, I couldn't ask for a better player to compete against every day in practice. When he went down, it was the most devastating thing I've seen. Having such a great player, but he stuck with God and he handled adversity. He came back as I personally think the best receiver in college and pro. So, I'm just happy to have him back. I'm glad he's healthy. I'm ready for him to do great things at this level.
Absolutely, yeah. I was covering the game and you got hurt against Wofford there, and it was. What do you remember about that? You caught the. You caught the ball in the back of the end zone, took like a step or two. Did you get shoved from behind into the goalpost?
That's what happened. I ran a post route.
You literally ran a post route.
Caught the ball in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
He pushed me in my back, and I collided with the goalpost. I was just laying down there.
Were you knocked out?
No, I actually wanted to get up, but the trainer was telling me I couldn't, and he didn't want me because of the symptoms I told him. Mm-hmm. So he just told me to stay down there and wait on the stretcher.
What were you feeling?
I just felt a little tingling feeling, like when it first happened. But after laying down there for a while, I felt good.
Yeah. Cordray, being an older guy, having gone through the whole 4-year deal and winning the national championship last time out, what does that mean to you as you move forward?
It means a lot. I get to leave Clemson out with a bang. I get to carry that winning feel, that winning touch to the Dolphins, who, like you said, picking up where they left off with a 10-6 season. So it's a great experience. We work hard, we grinded to get that national championship. It's just time to move on to the next chapter of our life.
Cordray, week 2 of the
we play each other.
Yeah,
you didn't know that?
I knew. I
didn't know that.
You
I wanted to be a surprise.
Are going to be home. You're going out to L.A.
Yes, sir.
It's out there.
We in L.A.
We in L.A., baby.
Yeah.
Hey.
So how about the idea of matching up with him in the regular season?
It's gonna be like practice again.
Do you know, Cordray, do you know Mike's every move?
I know it's every move, but hey, it don't matter because at the end of the day, he catches the ball. Like he'll tell you, I don't have some pretty good coverage on him, but at the end of the day, he still come down with the ball, and that's what all matters. That's how he made me the player I am. Just compete. Like he said, when I went up against other players, it wasn't nothing like Mike Williams. So just having that guy. I'm looking forward to week 2.
All right, hang on. We're going to hit a quick break and come back a few more minutes with Mike Williams, headed to the Los Angeles Chargers, and Cordray Tackersley to the Miami Dolphins, both former Tigers. Back, more with them in just a moment. from last year's team.
Thank you.
Mike Williams and Cordray Tankersley with us here on Sports Talk.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mike Williams and Cordray Tankersley with us here on Sports Talk. Back at Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network from Columbia, in studio with Mike Williams and Cordray Tankersley for a few more minutes. All right, we are back at Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network from Columbia, in studio with Mike Williams and Cordray Tankersley for a few more minutes. So let me ask you this real quick, the business side. Now, this thing's become a business for you now. It's no longer just fun and games and playing for the alma mater and for the students and Tiger Rag and all that. It's business time now. So, Mike, where are you guys in terms of, have you started contract talks and all that? How does that work?
Oh no, I haven't. I don't think I started that yet. I mean, my agent deal with that, so I'm just focused on the field. My agent to handle all the money problems.
Mm-hmm. You make any suggestions though, like let's go up a little bit, let's keep going up?
I'm gonna make suggestions. We're gonna get the best.
Yeah,
that's what we want, the best. Everything.
Yeah. Well, number 7, you feel like you're going to get a big chunk of the pie.
Yeah. We need all that.
Yeah. How about you, Cordray? Same kind of deal?
Yes,
Just
sir.
kind of waiting on it to be worked out?
We both have the same agent, so that worked out in his favor. But yeah, definitely want to get everything on worth, you know. I think on worth first round value, but hey, it is what it is.
Sure. I remember talking to you after the loss in the national championship game in 2015, and you decided to come back, and you probably could have come out then and been picked.
Yes, sir.
But you came back, you won a national championship, 3rd round draft pick. Are you happy with the way things turned out from that standpoint, from the draft standpoint?
You know, after I sat down and processed it, I am happy with the decision. You know, God makes no mistakes, you know. So I just came back, you know, wanted to get my degree, wanted to change my game, improve my game, you know, and then also have a chance to win the national championship game. I was able to do all those. I have 1 hour left before I graduate. So, I mean, just because I went 3rd round, which is not bad at all, I mean, I don't feel down. I made it, you know, and I'm just ready to go out and improve, folks.
Absolutely. All right, let me ask you two guys to reflect on the national championship season. And as you look back and you get a little bit older and you look back on that, Mike, what's this year going to mean to you?
Oh, it mean a lot. I mean, we're going to be remembered forever. You know, everybody used to talk about the 1981 team. So I feel like we could be in that conversation right now. You know, that just was our goal for this season. You know, the seniors and the rest of the group, we wanted to just come out and win a national championship. We wanted to be Alabama. You know, that was the main thing, just to come out. We knew what it took to get back to the national championship, and we wanted to do that. So we did it.
Any one play stand out in your mind from the season, regular season, playoff season, anything in particular? I know to Clemson fans, besides winning the national championship, the touchdown catch against South Carolina and carrying Jamarcus King into the end zone, that brings a smile to your face.
Yeah, we in Columbia. That probably was the best play of the season right there.
You remember that one well?
Yeah.
Did you feel him on your back?
Nah, he was too small. Yeah.
Just didn't feel him.
Didn't feel him at all.
Yeah. Last thing for both of you about Clemson moving forward. They lose so much, especially on offense, from last year's team. I mean, should we expect a backward step here for a year or two as they regroup offensively?
No backward step. I mean, as a program, we always going to regroup. You know, we lost some key players on offense, like you said, but we still have some key players who young, who just getting started. So, I mean, I feel like the offense is going to be good.
Cordray, the defense is not going to back up.
No, definitely. Definitely not. Coach V gonna make sure those guys are well prepared. You know, they're gonna go find another Bimbo, or they're gonna go find another Cordray Tangley. So, hey, that's part of recruiting. I see no drop offs.
Guys, thank you so much. Good luck. We can't wait to see you in the NFL and do your thing.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mike Williams and Cordray Tankersley with us here on Sports Talk. And we thank the guys for coming by earlier this afternoon. They were making the rounds in Columbia. They were at the State House. They met with the governor. They did some television stuff as well. And we thank them for coming by and being with us here on Sports Talk. Wish them the best of luck. Mike Williams is, well, both of them look great. And Mike is, of course, he's so tall. He's 6'4". He just kind of towers over you. And he's got a solid build to him. He'll be a tough cookie to wrestle down pro in the NFL. Of course, he's going to run into some DBs now that have some size and strength to him too, with Florida State and Alabama in particular, and did his thing. The thing about Mike Williams, as you heard Cordray say, you can be all over him. You can have him well covered. If the ball is in his neighborhood, he's going to go up and catch it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The NFL now, the windows are very tight. And, you know, you throw a guy when he's open, you throw it when he's not open. And there's a few players like that. Alshon Jeffries is like that. Julio Jones is like that. You just throw it up, let him go for it. And the key point, what separates Mike Williams from a lot of players coming out of college is the fact that, especially in San Diego, here I go again, their running game has been questionable. But now they have Melvin Gordon. He's got his sea legs under him. And Mike Williams is an accomplished blocker at wide receiver. A lot of these guys, you can't get them to block. But sometimes you got to have a wide receiver who can spring the big one. And a lot of times you see the wide receiver make a block downfield. And that's going to be a key component in his game with the Chargers.
All right. Thanks again to the guys for joining us here tonight on Sports Talk. Let's do recruiting, shall we? Why not? First of all, Fort Dorchester quarterback DeCarrion Joyner, whose offer list at one time consisted of USC, Clemson, Tennessee, North Carolina, Florida, Louisville, Oregon, Notre Dame, told us last night he has made his college decision, the schools of his decision. He plans to publicly reveal his final two on Mother's Day and his choice on Father's Day. He said, I do know. I guess whenever you know, you just know. He said, I just knew, and it was kind of getting kind of stressful coming down to it. They were really excited, he said, when he told the coaches. Coach smiled a lot. He was happy, I guess. I'm definitely at peace, a lot less stress. His top three were USC, NC State, and Alabama. He said USC recruiter Pat Washington and quarterbacks coach Kurt Roper were by on separate days last month. He didn't really get a chance to talk to him, but he did call Roper the night after the visit, and they talked a little bit. And he says he's in touch with them every day. He said his NC State recruiter has told him he will come by during spring practice, which for him starts Monday. Oklahoma also has been by his school. USC target defensive end Dorian Gerald of the College of the Canyons Junior College in California and Florence was offered by Alabama. Another sign of his growth into a major recruit. He says he's still in shock, something he dreams of, getting an offer from Alabama. He said this is the biggest. He doesn't think he can go any higher. He does also have offers from USC, Tennessee, Louisville, Texas Tech, Memphis, Washington State, Syracuse, Colorado State, and Arizona State. He plans to visit USC when he's home this summer. USC running back target Deshaun Fenwick of Bradenton, Florida, visited USC Tuesday, according to J.C. Sherbert of the Big Spur. USC quarterback coach Kurt Roper visited quarterback target Tyler Shuck throw, and Shuck was just offered by Oregon State. USC offered running back Asa Martin of Decatur, Alabama, and 2019 defensive back Reddy Stewart of Decatur, per an assistant coach at his school. USC offered 2019 defensive end Jamin Graham of Atala, Alabama. USC also offered 2019 defensive back Jalen McCullough of Powder Springs, Georgia, and 2020 wide receiver Kobe Hudson of LaGrange, Georgia. Basketball, 6'7" Justin Minaya arrived at USC late last night for the start of his official visit today. 6'7" Jimmy tagged by Clemson this week, and he said they told him they're going to recruit him. They have not offered yet. They do like his skill set and his movement. Georgetown, Nebraska, and Miami. He plans to visit Coastal Carolina and the College of Charleston in the near future. Clemson offered 6'9" Colin Castleton of Daytona Beach. And some other offers are Illinois, Rutgers, UAB, South Florida, and Charlotte. And 6'8" Evan Cole of Cumming, Georgia, who at one time had a Clemson offer for the 2017 class. He committed to Georgia Tech. All right, there you go with recruiting here on Sports Talk. Make sure you check it out on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and on Twitter. The hashtag is STRecruiting. Top of the hour, and we'll be back. How about kill you, Mike? Thank you. In 3, 2, 1. Fort Dorchester quarterback DeCarrion Joyner, who at one time had offers. No, I don't need to go through all that. In 3, 2, 1. Fort Dorchester quarterback DeCarrion Joyner says he's made his decision and he has notified the schools. He plans to publicly reveal the final two on Mother's Day and his ultimate choice on Father's Day. He narrowed his list to USC, NC State, and Alabama before settling on the final decision. USC quarterbacks coach Kurt Roper and recruiter Pat Washington were by the school in late April. Is that right? Shit. He said, yeah, last month. Dadgummit. Let's take it again. In 3, 2, 1. Fort Dorchester quarterback Kerryon Joyner says he's made his decision and he will announce in 3, 2, 1. Fort Dorchester quarterback Kerryon Joyner says he has made his decision and he has notified the schools. His top 3 were USC, NC State, and Alabama. His plan is to release a top 2 on Mother's Day and the winner on Father's Day. USC quarterbacks coach Kurt Roper and recruiter Pat Washington were by to see him the end of last month. USC defensive end target Dorian Gerald of Florence and the College of the Canyons Junior College in California was offered by Alabama. He also has USC, Tennessee, Louisville, Texas Tech, Syracuse, Washington State, and Arizona State on his off when he's home this summer. And USC running back target Deshaun Fenwick of Bradenton, Florida, visited US 7. Justin Manaya is at USC for his official visit. Phil Kornblut, South Carolina, Radio Network Sports. Fort Dorchester. Fort Dorchester quarterback Kerryon Joyner
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
Welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. Got time for calls now, 800-956-7266. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com and on Twitter @SportsTalkSC. Jump on board, share a comment, an observation, or question. Any comments about what Mike Williams and Cordray Tankersley had to say? You can tell that it's all the way through. Tigers also will continue to win in their absence. They have confidence in their coach. They have confidence in their system there, that even though they're losing a ton of really good offensive players, that they've got good players coming in. Necessarily agree with that on the offensive side, because my goodness, you can't lose those kind of players and not feel it on offense. Defense, you can replace guys, and let's face it, I mean, there's a lot of technique to defense and scheme and all that, but basically it's, boys, go sick the ball. Find the ball, hit the man, use your athletic ability. We'll train you up, but basically see the ball, go get the ball. Offense is a little more of scheme and timing, and all that has to come together to make for a great offense. And Clemson averaged 40 points per game last year. I foresee at least a 10-point cut in that. Well, I can't – no way they're going to average 40 a game. I think if they hit around 30 with their offensive situation, Feaster was a highly recruited, highly touted guy out of high school. He hasn't proved it. Nobody else has. All that production they're losing. I know they got some good people, but, quarterback.
Well, first of all, there's so many things that goes within a winning football team, and quite a lot of it is mental. Let's face it. We have to see what the offense is going to be like as we get in the first couple of games, because part of why I think Clemson's defense was so good is their defense could afford to gamble, because they knew if they consequentially get burned once or twice, number 4 was coming on the field and get that 7 back real quick. Mm-hmm. Now, you have to think twice, depending on how the offense is. Do I gamble for this tackle, or do I go for the football on this time? So it's a lot of mental preparation that has to go into understanding what your offense can deal with and what you can do as a defense as far as gambling is concerned. So it's going to be a little bit of a development pattern for both sides of the football as we get into the closer to the season. I think the other thing people have to realize is, even though other teams have lost talent, getting better at football. They really are. And you could tell last year that Clemson was challenged at home by some ACC squads. So, you're going to have to step it up a little bit, because you're going to – and I agree with Dabo that teams are going to give Clemson their best shot, no matter who's in that uniform, and they got to be ready.
Oh, well, sure. I mean, you're carrying the target of defending national champion on your back? Absolutely. Look at Coastal Carolina baseball this year. Everybody's best shot coming their way. USC women in basketball will be facing the same thing. USC men, because they made the appearance in the Final Four, will be the same way, especially when you go on the road. The crowd's going to be even more intense against you because of what you accomplished last year. Clemson football is going to have to deal with the same thing. But I'm sure Dabo Swinney has already told the 2017 team, hey, you didn't win the national championship. 2016 team won the national championship. Boom. They're not walking through that door. Deshaun Watson is not coming back through that door. Wayne Gallman is not walking back through that door. Mike Williams is not walking back through that door. Should I continue?
Well, they could
Small
walk,
Rick Pitino,
they could
Boston
walk,
Celtic excuse.
They could walk through that door, but it'll be on their off week on the NFL when they visit campus that
Right.
particular week.
So, point is, you got to strap it up and make your own name now. Hunter Johnson or Kelly Bryant or Zarek Cooper, whoever happens to be the guy. Tucker is quarterback, Chase Bryce, any of the five who might emerge at quarterback at Clemson. You got to do it on your own now. Same thing at wide receiver, Cornell Powell, all those young guys now who are going to get their chance. Deion Kane, who, is a proven commodity and will be the guy to emerge, but he's not going to have the luxury of addition. Please do not suggest to me, no matter who Clemson's quarterback is, that you're going to have a quarterback with the arm and the efficiency of a Deshaun Watson. Don't even go there, okay? And I know Hunter Johnson, highly talented high school guy. Don't even tell me the 2018 guy who's committed, Mr. All-World, is going to come in and be as good, better than Deshaun Watson. I mean, I think Clemson, seriously, we say, people get better, players get better, but can they ever have a quarterback better than Deshaun Watson? Think about it. Think about what he did. Just take the Alabama games and think about it. Think about what he did over 3 years, his overall record. Think about the comebacks. No way. I mean, I think you have topped off. You have hit the ceiling when it comes to greatness at quarterback in number 4.
Well, the key point about Deshaun Watson, I've always talked about it, Phil, which I thought somebody would move up to get him. And it's not really has anything to do with his talent. As the Texan said, when we went to that blackboard and they gave him something and he just spit it right back at him, that the mental makeup plus the talent, that combination. You may find as good a talent, but you're not going to find the combination of the brains upstairs and the talent.
And the savvy.
Deshaun Watson.
And the savvy.
Oh, yeah.
And the timing, ability to turn nothing into something. And I was just rewatching the national championship game last week, and I've forgotten about the hit he took.
Early.
Was it early when he took the scissors hit, the helicopter hit? Whenever he took it, early or late, and he popped right up. And this is a guy who, of course, who's had a bad knee before. But he was that Reuben Foster that spun him like a helicopter, and he got right up and said, "Let's keep on going." Tough.
And you know who that message was sent to? It wasn't sent to his team. It was sent to Alabama. Is that your best shot? That's all you got?
Yeah.
And that's what they jumping. That's why he got up quick.
Mm-hmm.
He let them know, is that all you got? And so, that was a psychological ploy there also.
So anyway, the point is that you might bring in some more good quarterbacks, and these guys might develop into good quarterbacks. I see them not surpassing Deshaun Watson in terms of greatness. Then they might be great in their own way or very good in their own way. But boy, I think Clemson has hit the very top of the scale when it comes to the best quarterback that they've ever had and ever will have in Deshaun Watson.
Remind me of this, because I don't know whether this will ever be a part of their offense. But did Clemson at all during the Deshaun Watson era go into the Wildcat for anything? I don't remember.
Yes. I can remember Deshaun trotting out, splitting out at wide receiver, and direct snap to was it Gallman? Certainly when C.J. Spiller was there, they not very often.
We may see a few more.
But you want to take the ball, be right back. SC Wild coming up at the bottom of the hour. We invite you outdoors people to hang with us. Your comments, questions to the captain, Billy Downer, certainly will be welcomed as we talk about spring and summer activities, including boating, safety on the water, fishing, and a whole bunch more. Over
Snakes.
Snakes. Over at Founders Park, it's USC 2-0 on Wofford. And we have Hogan with an RBI double scoring one of those runs, and Tolbert with an RBI single scoring one of those runs in the opposite order. Tolbert was first, and then Hogan was next. So USC out in front of Wofford, 2-0 as they play in the bottom of the first inning. USC, another offer out by the Gamecocks. You ready for this one? 2019 wide receiver from Bradenton, Florida, Knowledge McDaniel. Knowledge McDaniel is his name.
Well, okay, we'll put him up against
Scientific Map.
Scientific Map and Majestic Map.
Majestic Map. And there was another one.
Yeah.
Well, of course, the most famous of them all would be God Sham God.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, come on.
That was.
And he was a player, too. The good thing about
Providence College.
he was a player, God Sham God.
Point guard.
And, of course, Scientific Map was a player at Virginia, I believe. Very good player.
Virginia Tech.
I think it was Virginia.
We had Sir Lancelot Cooley was a player on our high school team that was getting press in the recruiting circles.
Sir Lancelot?
Sir Lancelot Cooley was his
running back by the name of Master Teague.
Then again, nothing tops for the guy.
Who's your master?
Who the guy play for UNC Asheville, whatever? Chief Kicking Stallion Sims. Remember that?
That one I do not recall.
The big guy, because they got the NCAAs one year. The guy said, what name is this? And the thing was, the first name, which was actually the nickname, was Chief. And his last name was Kicking Stallion Sims, one word.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
This was a basketball player?
Yes, Chief Kicking Stallion Sims.
All right, let me update a couple of other things. Steve Pierce just hit a grand slam for the Blue Jays, much to my chagrin, to put the Blue Jays up on the Yankees 4-0. He also homered last night with a solo homer. Those are his first two homers of the year, so he's starting to deliver on what the Blue Jays hoped they got when they acquired him from the Orioles. So grand slam for Steve Pierce tonight. And I want to mention this, South Carolina now up 3-0. Destino reaching on a fielding error, and that got an unearned run home for the Gamecocks off to a 3-0 lead over Wofford. The Baseball America folks have their new projection for the NCAA baseball tournament field. Clemson is projected to host. The Tigers, the number 8 national seed in this projection, number 1 seed in their regional. And Baylor would be number 2, Ole Miss number 3, and Fairfield would be number 4. USC is in the field as a number 3 seed in the Winston-Salem regional, where Wake Forest is your number 1 seed, Maryland is 2, Binghamton is 4. Now, if you're South Carolina and you see that they're putting you in that regional, you'd have to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Maybe not. One of those teams may have 2 hot pitches.
But South Carolina would say, you know what South Carolina's thinking is going to be if they make the postseason, which they should, even though they lose Clark Schmidt, that they've got 2 really good starters and they think a good bullpen and an excellent closer, that they could win a short series, that they could go into a regional and win that regional.
Yeah, but that bullpen been grooving some pitches lately. Only that big swings.
I just don't think
swings are hot.
I don't think going to Winston-Salem and being in the mix with Wake Forest, Maryland, and Binghamton is going to scare South Carolina. As a number 3 seed, they would be a very scary number 3 seed. I'm telling you, a very scary number 3 seed. I think South Carolina, of course, they'd love to be a host. That's not going to happen. So if you're not going to host, that is within driving distance of Columbia, a little over 2 hours, so fans would have no trouble getting there. And you look at that field is going to scare you if you're South Carolina, really. Nobody.
So you trying to tell everybody here that they wouldn't dare stick South Carolina in Clemson's regional?
It doesn't appear to be. Apparently, those days are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have them matched up. If these are arranged in a way that they would match up the winners, they don't have them matched up where they would play the winner of the Clemson regional. As I look down this list, and I'm double checking here, maybe I'm missing it. I don't see Coastal Carolina in the field. I don't see Winthrop in the field. I must be missing.
Yeah, Winthrop's got to be in.
I would think they've got Winthrop as the Big South. Maybe not. Let me just do a quick show me Winthrop. No, Winthrop is. This is by Baseball America now.
Well, they
not seeing Winthrop in there.
They blew it. Baseball America blew it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And no Coastal Carolina either. The defending national champions. It looks like, is Southeastern Louisiana in the Sun Belt? Is that in their league?
I can't recall them being in there.
I think, well, I can check real quick. I think that's who they have as the Sun Belt representative. Winthrop is not, I'm sorry, Coastal Carolina in their first year in the Sun Belt. They are at this point in second place behind South Alabama. No, Southeastern Louisiana is not in that league. South Alabama is first in the East Division of the Sun Belt. You know who South Alabama's coach is? It's Mark
Calvey.
Mark Calvey, the former USC pitching coach. Yeah, Mark Calvey doing a heck of a job. 28-17 overall at the time of the league, and Coastal behind a game and a half, 13-7-1. The overall leader in the league, however, is who is this? I have to look this up. Texas Arlington.
Okay.
UTA. I didn't know who UTA was.
Texas Arlington.
University of Texas Arlington at 16-5 in the Sun Belt. I have to admit, I'm not totally knowledgeable on the Sun Belt. USC now up 4-0 as they've gone to the top of the second inning. So a big first inning for South Carolina. Where was this past weekend?
3-run shot, so now it's 4-3.
Oh.
Ball City in Yankee Stadium.
Ball is flying out of New York tonight, and that's off of Stroman, Marcus Stroman. So Sabathia and Stroman both getting touched up in the first inning at Yankee Stadium. Going to be a long night for the pitching staff there, or so it appears. Let's see, USC's fourth run. Let's see here. Destino was tried to steal second, was caught stealing, and Hogan scored on the throw home. So while Destino tried to steal second, apparently they threw down, and then Hogan broke for home and scored the fourth run. So 4 runs on 4 hits for the Gamecocks in the bottom of the first. Pro, we're going to let you go. Any final thoughts from you as you depart?
I'm just going to have some fun watching a little NBA action, but it's going to be a letdown because it can't get any better than last night.
Don't know if we mentioned this last night. Might have been after the show that and maybe we did mention it late in the show, that Fry, USC's kicker, is going to get a tryout with Tampa Bay this week. So good luck to him. Elliot Fry with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, we will be back. SC Wild coming up in just a moment.
It's time to get wild with SC. It's time to get wild with SC Wild. Everything hunting and fishing from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources and your host, Phil Kornblut. SC Wild on Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network.
Good to have the captain in studio with us tonight, Captain Billy Downer, South Carolina Department of Natural Resources on Sports Talk. Good evening.
Good evening to you, sir. Always a pleasure to spend my night.
Many people have said that over the years.
And change their mind or?
Won't go there.
Won't go there. Okay, all right then. Well, I enjoy my time for now.
It's heating up.
It is heating up.
It's heating up. What are we doing outdoors?
Turkey season is wrapping up. Closes this Friday. Remember, folks, the turkey season did get extended a little bit. We have an early season. It begins now in March across the state and then goes through May the 5th, which is Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So turkey season closes Friday.
Has it been a good turkey season?
I hope you have had a better one than me.
Oh, okay.
Go out, and when I did go out, it hasn't been too fruitful. So,
you know why? You know, you brought in your little turkey calls that night.
Oh, was that what it was?
And I
They
could
figured
tell
out what the call was.
I could just tell that you just didn't have it. You know, I showed you how to do it. I gave you the corn call, and you didn't have it.
We laughed at it. You're right. Good point. Might be my calling. You never know.
You need to go back before next year and redo your turkey calls.
We'll work on that.
Come up with a new one.
We'll work on that.
What else on your mind?
Most importantly tonight, and probably the most of the night, let's spend some time talking about boating safety. Since our last show, we've had a few accidents across the state, some of note that people are very aware of. Lake Murray, an accident where two boats collided there. So a lot of attention recently in the news, media, as well as just local folks who are concerned about safety on the lakes and our waterways. Sometimes, unfortunately, it takes an accident or something to get us thinking about boating safety again.
Let me ask you this question. At what age can you drive a boat legally in South Carolina?
There is no minimum age.
It's kind of scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little different. The law is not like driving a car. You have to be a certain age. The law is if you are under the age of 16, okay, and you want to operate a boat with 15 horsepower motor or greater, which would include certainly PWC's jet skis and things of that nature, before you can operate that motorboat or vessel by yourself, you will have to pass, successfully completed, a boating safety course and have in your possession a card saying you've done so. So you have to have proof of course. In order for a child under the age of 16 to operate a boat by themselves, now a 10-year-old can be at the helm of a boat with you sitting behind them who has no knowledge of boating. So
I've seen that.
That is a little concern for people. That is how our law is written at this time. So
yeah, Dad thinks it's a good thing to put youngsters
that's not where
behind the wheel.
But let me say this: that's not where our incidents or accidents occur.
Right.
Has nothing. If you look at our accident data, it has nothing to do with these youngsters.
Well, because they're not out boating at 12 o'clock at night, and they're not intoxicated.
Well,
and they're not out partying, and does that not lead more often to these boating accidents than anything else?
Sure, I'm not going to say that, but in many accidents, it doesn't have anything to do with the accident. I'm not going to say, again, alcohol does impair you. We'll talk about it in a little while, absolutely. But more often than not, it's not paying attention. And there's a lot of reasons why we don't pay attention. A lot of things going on out in the water. I don't know if you've been out on July 4th out at Lake Murray or Lake Marion or any of our lakes across the state, Lake Kiwi, Lake Hartwell. It's busy.
Yeah.
We have a lot of water in our state. We've talked about that before. People enjoy boating. Over 485,000 registered boats in our state. There's a lot of boats out there. You can't go across the countryside riding on, 301 or 261 or any other highway you want to mention the state without traveling 2 or 3 minutes. You'll see a boat in the yard somewhere. We enjoy boating in South Carolina, and that's great. It's a great pastime. It can be a safe pastime, but you have to think about some safety rules, basic rules for go out there. So tonight we want to talk about some basics of boating to think about, particularly when it comes to watching out around you, looking out, keeping a proper lookout. That's one of the main rules to follow. And if you had to look at most of our accidents, they fall in that category. We're failing to keep a proper lookout. Even if you have the right of way, you still got to keep a proper lookout because you don't know what somebody else might do. We call it defensive driving with a car. With a boat, same thing. Be on the lookout for somebody. When you're pulling the kids, I can't say this enough because I think people we're having fun on the lake. We're pulling our kids on a inner tube, or we're pulling a skier. And anymore, it's mostly tubing now. You see more tubing than skiing. And you're weaving through traffic, and you're not thinking about what happens if your child falls off or the person on there falls off amidst all this traffic. And if you're one of the other boats and you see these people cutting in front of you with a tube, and yes, they may have cut you off. I get it. But what are you doing to remove yourself from the accident? Slow down. Are you slowing down? Are you backing off? Are you looking for that person to hit that wave and fall off? Are you thinking about those things before they happen?
Yeah. As dangerous as distracted driving.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And a boat, unlike a car, does not have brakes.
Yeah.
You can let off the engine, it's going to continue to go forward until the energy displacement slows down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, friction is a little different on the water.
Sure.
So, a lot of things to think about there. Again, we talked about this last time. It is worth mentioning the 3 basic rules of navigation. Number 1, practice good seamanship. It is the responsibility of every boat and PWC operator to take all necessary action to avoid a collision. Again, you know, being a good driver of the boat, practicing good seamanship, you're acting right, you're not trying to cut people off, you're being a good driver, but be defensive as well. Even if somebody cuts you off, you need to be thinking about what you can do to avoid collision as well.
Mm-hmm. Don't try and get even.
Which, absolutely. And it goes right next to number 2, keep a sharp lookout.
Mm-hmm.
If you're keeping a sharp lookout, you're going to be looking out for issues, any kind of problems that could be coming up, whether it be a stump on the river. If you're on the river, we don't want to talk about John boats on the river. Great going fishing on the river, but if you're not looking out, stump floating down the water there could cause an issue for you, as well as other boats. Maintain a safe speed and distance, and this one has been a hot topic in recent years. The folks want to have quote-unquote speed limits on the water. A lot of inherent problems with trying to put speed limits on the water. We have no wake zones where we mark around areas of congestion, fueling areas, landings, and marinas. Again, areas that boats are congregating, either getting in, putting out. So those areas of congestion where we put these buoys out, no wake buoys, again, that is an area where you should be at no wake. That's a speed thing. It is directly speed.
Right.
You should not be carrying what your boat should be.
And that also goes
minimum.
back to good seamanship.
It does.
And respecting the property of the
absolutely
the peeps.
Absolutely.
Well.
Should be basically for no wake, your throttle should be just clicked into gear. Just going. And you should not have any white froth behind the boat, any wave, certainly behind your boat pulling the wave, because that wave could cause damage. Now, if you're within 50 foot of a dock, and you're carrying a wave and it causes damage, and you're responsible for that damage potentially. Again, within 50 feet. Outside of 50 feet, it's no wake. The no wake zone in. And make sure I'm clear on this. No wake zones where you see buoys, say no wake. There are areas, congestion, marinas, fueling areas, things of that nature. Outside of that, the rules say anywhere else, if you're within 50 foot of a dock or a boat at anchor, you have to be at no wake. Channels, if you're near docks and stuff, you need to slow down.
And also, let's just say you're in a narrow part of the whatever you're in, and you're going past another boat who might be picking up a skier or something.
Absolutely.
You don't want to go blasting by them.
That's right.
And
Slow
creating
down.
a problem.
As well as blue lights. When you see blue lights on the lake, if you see one of the county officers, one of our DNR officers, you should be at no wake when you pass them as well. Throw them out of the boat when they're trying to help somebody else render aid or deal with a potential situation.
All right, hang on. We'll come back with more, talking with the captain here about boating safety, a little bit of hunting stuff as well tonight as we wrap up the turkey season here in South Carolina. We'll be back, SC Wild, here on Sports Talk.
It's time to get wild with SC Wild. Everything hunting and fishing from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources and your host, Phil Kornblut. SC Wild on Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network.
And back we are, Sports Talk SC Wild on this Wednesday nights with Captain Billy Downer from DNR. If you have a comment or a question for the captain, 800-956-7266. Shoot us an email, talkback@sportstalksc.com, or on Twitter if you want to communicate with us that way, at SportsTalkSC. We continue our conversation. Oh, let me mention this real quick. USC and Wofford, it's now a 4-1 USC lead in the top of the third. Now, back to our conversation regarding boating here in South Carolina.
Let's talk navigation lights for a minute. A lot of people don't understand what navigation lights are, how important they are to your boat. Why do I really need them? What colors do I need? I just know when I buy a boat, it's got lights on it, and they should work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And very important question. Most boats that you're going to be dealing with on our local lakes have two types of lights displayed at night. They have red and green side lights on the bow of the boat, also known as bow lights. And then you have the all-around white light on the stern or the rear of the boat, also referred to sometimes as the stern light. But the all-around white light is very important because it should be visible 360 degrees. A lot of times guys take their poles, they cut them off, and they shove them down low where they can't be seen over the motor cowling or over you in a John boat, for instance, or on top of a pontoon. They'll fold the cover down, and the light gets folded down. You can't see the light. That all-around light should be visible 360 degrees so boats can see no matter which direction you're coming. That's really for you to be seen first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
The red and green lights, your side lights, are important because that tells boats what direction you're going. And that's important. Just like if you were driving a car, you want to see if somebody's coming from your left or from your right.
Mm-hmm.
So how do those lights work? A lot of people go, I don't know what color is supposed to be on what side. Red, green. The red light should always be on the left side of the boat. The green light should be on the right side of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Red to port as green is to starboard. One way I remember, and this is simple, stupid, and it's not a rule, it's just something I remember. Red's 3 letters, left 4 letters. Green, 5. Phil's trying to figure it out. It's 5 letters.
Okay.
Right is 5 letters.
Uh-huh.
The more letters on the right, the less letters on the left. So when you're looking at your boat, and you're sitting in the boat, the red light should be to your left, the green light should be to your right.
I got you.
So if a boat is coming from your right, your left,
okay,
you're going to see the white light, all-around light, and you're going to see their green light on the right side of their boat, which is telling you green means, in the world of stop and go, what? Go. You have the right of way.
Okay.
A boat coming from your left, that same boat will see your red light, which tells them in the red and green world, stop. They don't have the right of way that you do. Now, these are great navigation rules, and we should follow them. When it comes to accident things, we look at that, and that's what we go by. Who was a stand-on boat? Stand-on means the boat that has the right of way, or the give-way boat, the boat that should yield. Typically, you're going to yield to boats coming from your right. There's all sorts of situations we can come up with. When you're going on rivers and things, you should stay to the right, the inside of the channel. When you're passing a boat, a lot of people want to know, do I have to go right every time? No, you can go left or right to pass a boat, but you need to be looking for blind spots, just like in a car, for a boat, particularly, or a PWC, a low boat that you can't see over that pontoon in front of you, or maybe that big cabin cruiser or that big center console, so that when you jut around, that you're looking for somebody to come right in front of them that you didn't see. So again, keeping that proper lookout, that message is always there. But those lights are important. When do those lights need to be on? When do you think, Phil?
Well, off the top of my head, I'd say at night.
Very good. When is night? We
Typically,
live in a legal world. What is the definition legally?
Typically, in my world, night is when it's dark.
Okay, that's very good, Phil.
Yes.
But because people might say, well, it wasn't dark yet.
Yeah.
It is from official sunset to official sunrise. That is night.
Okay.
Official sunset, you should have your running lights on. At the same time, boats that are not equipped with running lights, these personal watercraft, because they're low to the water, hard to see, they have to be off the water at sunset. And you'll see people still out there playing.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what happens after sunset? The light diminishes very quickly. So you lose sight of boats like that real quick. And at night, when they're low to the water, it's hard to see boats, particularly PWC.
Mhm.
So they're not supposed to be out there.
So
Against the
what
law.
would a DNR agent do?
They would be charged with running a PWC after sunset, which is a violation of our Boating Safety Act.
Mhm.
And that fine will be up there, $155, $170
Mhm.
for operating after hours, basically. Because, again, that may seem steep, but what's your life? It's just protecting your life.
Mhm.
Other boats cannot see PWCs at night.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
So, again, that's why we have to have lights, all-around lights, the white light at the back of the boat, usually on the stern, the back of the boat.
Mhm.
It should be high enough where it's visible. Remember, if you've got a pontoon, make sure it's turned up. Check your awning and you pull it back. I call it the awning, but if you take the top
Sure.
and you fold it back like people do, make sure your light's sticking up so it can be seen.
Mhm.
Don't forget about that. And before you go out, check your lights. Click them on, make sure they're on.
And the thing is, if you follow these simple rules, you got a chance to be safe and have a
Absolutely.
lot of fun on the waterways.
And be able to return home safely to come back out again.
Mhm.
If you don't follow the rules, it could be a tribute to an accident.
Mhm.
You don't want to attribute to an accident. So when you're, anchored, you have to have lights on, at least your all-around light. That's also known as an anchor light.
Mhm.
And your boat usually has a switch that says running or anchor. And that's what that means. You flip it down usually for anchor and up for running light. So when you're operating and you're moving and you're underway and your boat's moving, underway doesn't mean the boat's in gear, but if
Mhm.
the boat's moving, you should have all your lights on, your red and green side lights and your white all-around light. If you're an anchor, the white light on.
Touch on life jackets.
Life jackets are another very important part of boating safety for us. Very simple, very quick rules. Make sure you have a life jacket, a wearable life jacket for everybody in the boat, not a seat cushion, not a float, a wearable life jacket for everybody in the boat.
And that is something that you will be pulled over for and checked for.
You will be checked for that. And people sometimes get aggravated. Why am I getting checked for this? Because it's one of the most common things that attribute to accidents as well. When people get hit, they're not wearing a life jacket, they drown.
Mhm.
If you didn't die from the accident, from the initial contact, a lot of people die from drowning afterwards because they didn't have a life jacket on. And there's so many new life jackets out there today that are self-inflatables. Yes, they may cost about, but I always say this again: what is your life worth? Standing safety, wearing a harness. What's your life worth? It's worth getting that $100 life jacket that you'll wear.
Mhm.
Then the orange $10, $12 one from Walmart that you put up under the seat that you can't get to when the boat flips over. Buy a life jacket you're willing to wear, so that you can, it can help you.
But do you recommend people wear their life jacket at all times in the boat?
I think that when you're underway, wearing a life jacket is not a bad idea. And particularly in smaller boats, no doubt about it.
Mhm.
On PWCs, it's required.
Yeah.
If you're on a PWC, you have to have your lanyard attached and your life jacket on. People will get upset about that if you say, you should be wearing a life jacket all the time. Well, I get it. Some people get upset about not wearing a seatbelt or about having to wear a seatbelt.
Mhm.
But again, find a life jacket you're willing to wear, and it makes you much more safer.
And you don't have to think about it in
No.
times of crisis.
Absolutely. But make sure you got a life jacket for everybody in the boat. Make sure it fits everybody in the boat, that you're not putting an adult life jacket on a youngster. So when they hit the water, it pops off because then it's no good to them.
Mhm.
Make sure it's in good condition, no rips and tears, and make sure it's where you can get to it. It's called readily accessible. Because if you can't get to the life jacket in time of need, it's no good to you.
Are we out of time? This is it, huh?
I think we're rolling out.
Enjoyed it.
Another great night.
Great advice. I hope everybody listened and take it to heart. Thank
Have
you,
a fun
Captain.
weekend. Enjoy the warm weather.
You got it. Have a good night.